right, hey guys, what's going on? My name is Chris Hawkes. This is your best life defined. Let's go ahead and do this thing. So let's talk about positive flow. I divide life into two categories, into positives and negatives, because that's what the universe is. It's basically positives and negative charges that keep all this thing going, right? So I'm sitting here out there, I'm walking, I'm thinking about how can I explain this to you in a way that actually will make sense to you? So let's just break it down. Your life is divided into segments of action and things that happen based on a center line of 50%. That is, when everything is in balance, and there is complete cohesiveness in what you're doing, you're sitting at zero. You're not feeling any negative pressure on you, and you're not feeling any positive pressure on you. It's almost like when you're born. Being a child, being a young person who doesn't have any real burdens yet, you're a baby, you haven't been influenced by issues like guilt and that type of thing. That puts you in a neutral state. And then everything you go through life, it has a positive or negative impact on your state. In other words, if you're sitting at 50% between 0 and 100, you're sitting at 50%, that's balanced. And let's say by the time we'll use Sandy and I as an example. So we had our issues already. There was some negative impact on our lives. There was some positives too, but there we are. We're rolling along, and all of a sudden, Sandy ends up. She's pregnant. We're gonna have a baby. That's negative flow. The reason that's negative flow is because that created an encumbrance or an obligation on my life in a direction that probably at the time I wasn't ready for. At the time, I'm thinking that sucks. Addressing the other side of it, we took on some more encumbrances when we think about our relationship, because that required a lot of struggle. I did a lot of things I did not enjoy doing to sustain a positive flow, which is to keep cash rolling in, to keep money and food on the table, and keep money in my pocket so we could live the life we had chosen to live, right? Now, the cash is positive flow. Cash improves your position. You go out and you work, no matter if the work sucks, it's a negative flow, but the cash flow, what it creates is positive. Now, keeping that in mind when you think about your choices, as a whole, choices are either on one side or the other side of the line. Now, the story we've been told about the choices most of us make, like home ownership or getting a mortgage, buying a house. There's a story out there that says it's an amazing positive to your life, right? It's a great investment. You don't want to be throwing your money away. That's what they say. Well, don't be throwing your money away on rent. You buy. But if you were in you got hit by COVID-19 in 2020, and you've lost your house or ready to lose your house because you can't pay for it, that positive they sold you turned into a negative, didn't it? So how does this play out with living your best life? Let me break this out for you. So everything you do in life has a ramification or an impact. I buy a fifth wheel. I have to maintain a fifth wheel. I have to pay for a fifth wheel. I have to put fuel in the truck and buy a truck to pull the fifth wheel. Those are all negative flow. That is a negative flow situation, because those are all encumbrances that I take upon myself because of my choice, right? Now, the positive is, because I do own a fifth wheel, I can travel and stay nearly anywhere in the country I want to stay, right? I can go see places I've never seen. A positive flow is because I live in a fifth wheel. Aside from maintaining the fifth wheel and keeping it clean, the majority of my time is mine to do what I want with. That's a plus. That and how it feels, and the amazing adventure that comes from spending a July in Bar Harbor, Maine, or any other amazing place that we've been, because that thing that we love to do, that this choice gives us access to, is so ingrained in who we are, we find value in it. So those encumbrances, the negative flow, those things that I have to do because of my choices, they're not nearly as painful. I take pride in my house. I take pride in having a nice RV, partly because you have to maintain this thing. You take it down the road, things rattle loose, things need to be maintained, cleaned, inspected. That's all part of the game. And for that, I have the freedom to live the life we live. Debt-free? There's a positive flow. I don't owe anyone anything, right? We have our cell phone bill and insurance, and we have to buy tires and stuff like that. But when it comes to positive flow, when it comes to cash, the cash is mine, man. Don't owe anybody. It doesn't matter what the world does. I have a home. I have a place to live. There will always be a place to park this thing, right? That's how we gauge where we are in life. And that's something a lot of people don't tell you. It's expected that just because you bought the house and you bought off in the American dream, that you're going to be happy. The question is, are you? Are you? And I that's actually a mistake there. It's not happiness. How does it feel? Do you feel content in your life? Are you wanting for anything, or do you sit back and go, I got everything I need? Because that is a really liberating feeling, right? I guess in the last couple months, I've bought two things. I've made two purchases. I bought me a portable electric power washer to help ease the burden of washing my rig. It cuts the time down from 2 days to 3 hours, right? And I bought a steam cleaner because having smaller square footage, the carpet collects more dirt and dust, and of course, there's more areas are lived in. In other words, because we have such a small space, we live on more of these surfaces, the carpets and the tile, and so it has a bigger impact. So I bought a steamer to make sure I could maintain the appearance and the cleanliness of our rig. Those are positive. Those are positive expenditures. Could I have done without them? Yeah, if I hadn't bought the power washer, I wouldn't have to wash the rig as often as I do. Actually, that's not true. I'd still have to wash it. I just have to wash it by hand. The steamer could have done without it, I guess. But if you're going to spend the time to clean your rig and maintain your rig, then why not have the tools that actually make that happen? There's some parts on my RV that that the power washer alone won't work for. The gear assemblies get dirt in them. Got to get that dirt cleaned up, get it cleaned up so that it doesn't create abrasion and actually damage the parts, right? Added something I don't really enjoy doing, but it increased the value of what I have to do. I don't have to spend as much time when I hit that button to run these slides in, and I have to worry about whether they're going to come in or not, whether something's going to break because it wasn't maintained, right? Positive flow. How much positive flow are you getting from your choices? From the house you own, from the debt? Are you energized? Do you wake up excited? Are you feeling like, oh, hell yeah, this is definitely the right choice for us, right? This is where that honesty comes in. This is where it's really imperative that you're honest with yourself about where you're at. Because what we do is we want to say, oh, positive flow, positive flow. I own a house. Yeah, if you dig owning a house, if you dig all the encumbrances, all the burden that comes with owning that house, and you're okay with that, you're a better homes and gardens person. But if that house keeps you from accessing something else in your life because it's either too expensive or it takes too much of your time, then on the scale of things, that thing that it's keeping you from probably should be on the scale on a higher mark than the house you own. You can't, that's really the point there. It's kind of a math thing. Why do you choose things that make your life worse? Why do you choose things that take more resources than it's worth? A vehicle is a terrible investment, but no one talks about the investment of a car. Oh, get a car. Oh yeah, nice car. They do talk about depreciation, but a house, I mean, it's not that big a deal, right? Keep everything in the positive flow. Keep everything going forward in the positive. And when you think about positive and negative, this is where the mindset comes in too. That positive and negative doesn't even just simply apply to the specific task. It's about the mindset. If you believe anything about the world, there is an energy, a plus and a negative, positive and minus energy that comes in to hold this whole thing together. And because of that relationship, what happens is, I believe that ultimately the more positive your attitude is, the more positive your direction is, and the more enthused you are about those things you do, the more benefits come to you. Now, do I have any proof of this? No, it's not scientific. I can tell you that Sandy and I have always had a positive attitude about the life we've lived in. And to be honest with you, there isn't anything we faced that I didn't believe we couldn't overcome, right? That's still where I'm at, right? The idea about this podcast, to be famous, to be successful, to have people say, yes, it matters, he changed my life. What do you suppose is going to happen with that type of a positive attitude? Good things come to good people who do good things. Now, bad things come to good people who do good things too, but it's not nearly as likely. And the point is, whatever it takes to put fuel in your tank. Positive attitude, looking at where you're going, what you can be. Have you ever noticed how angry people just get angrier and angrier? They sit on the negative side of life. They're like, yeah, I know that, yeah, but that sucks. What if? Rah, rah, rah. Rock biters. Same standard. Drop off in the negative emotionally. Drop off in the negative. Focus on all the crappy things in life, and I guarantee you are destined to have a crappy life. I wake up every day, and granted, could it be better? It can always be better. That's why I keep doing this podcast, because even within my own life, there are things I am not quite as efficient at as I would like to be. I just keep working towards it, and I don't let anything get in the way, because you know what? You grab a hold of the good and you get the good, right? I don't know. Positive flow, negative flow. Set yourself up to win by developing a winning attitude. And I know that's a cliche, winning attitude. Think positive and good things will come. No, it takes effort, it takes strength, but energy to do that. But what you need is you need the fuel. And telling a great story, a great positive story about where you're going and what's possible for you, that's the fuel, the energy you need to make it happen when it gets tough. It has to be a great story when you're flat on your face and you're going, God, I can't do another podcast. God, I can't do another step. God, I don't want to spend another night in school. And you do it anyway, because that energy's there when you have a positive flow, when you have a positive view of your life. Is it false? Hell yeah, it doesn't matter. Comes down to the story, the vision of what will be, right? That vision of what will be, that amazing ending to this struggle you face. You're just like Luke Skywalker on Star Wars, or any other person who has risen up against the challenges and found the motivation to overcome, right? The reason it works and the reason we like those stories is because they're great and they work. It works. Build a story. Go after it. Face your hurdles. If I knew how to do the voice of Yoda, I'd do the Yoda voice. I mean, if that's what it takes to motivate you, that's okay with me. I'm good with that. My point is that, life is positive or negative. Pick a side and go for it. If you're in the middle, you're not doing anything. That's the other truth. If you're in the middle and you just don't have anything pushing on you one way or the other, and you're not headed in a direction, shame on you, because the biggest gift that we have right now is the opportunity to live one more day. Are you taking advantage of it? Are you doing what you can with it? Are you focusing not on where you are, but where you can be? Are you looking at yourself more than the world around you? I certainly hope so, because that's how you're going to get there. Your best life is waiting for you. All you have to do is go out and get it. Now it's your turn. Go ahead and do it. So, hey, keep that in mind. Let's keep, thank you for the follows. Thank you for the likes. Let's not forget the kindness. And as always, just remember, today's your day. Make it a good one.